to close your eyes. Welcome aboard Spiritual Airlines, Flight 331. Today our flying time will be approximately 1 hour. Our destination will be wholeness. We ask you to please pay attention to the safety instructions, and when the oxygen mask falls, please put it on yourself first before trying to help others. So once again, we welcome you to this flight. Sit back and enjoy our in-flight entertainment.
I invite you to continue keeping your eyes closed. Relax. Let go and secure your spiritual oxygen mask. Let us take a deep and slow breath together. Breathe in the perfection that you are. Feel the love deep within you. Feel the love right inside of you. Take another breath and feel your lungs expanding. Release the air slowly. And bring your awareness to the center within you, to your heart. And from that center, from your heart, feel your connection with all that is. Feel your connection with the universe, with God, Spirit. Feel the harmony, the love, and the unity that resides deep within you. As we dive even deeper, feel the perfection and wholeness within you. Let us relax and rest in this wholeness, in this place where we are safe, we are loved and nurtured. And let's take a few minutes and reside there. Let us rest in this place. Now gently open your eyes, knowing that wholeness still resides within you as we return back to the room.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Morristown. My name is Lucy Pavlik,
And my name is John Pavlik.
and we are very happy to be here. We want to welcome you to our center, especially if this is your first time here. We want you to know that we are so happy that you found us. We welcome you, we love you, and we want you to keep coming back. Today I am so excited because I get the opportunity to assist my beloved husband, John Pavlik, who is speaking today because our spiritual director, Dr. Reverend Frankie, is away on vacation. But before we start this Sunday celebration, we have to start with an opening prayer.
So I invite you once again to just close your eyes and just know the wholeness that is always there, the wholeness of God that is always present, the wholeness of spirit, of life, of love, of nature, of whatever name works for you. And in this wholeness, just breathe in to the divine perfection, the divine love and wisdom and prosperity and health of spirit. And simply know that that is yours. That is your birthright. That divine love, that prosperity, that health, that freedom of expression, that creative expression is our divine source. And right where we are, it is. So today we take a deep dive within and really connect to that wholeness that is already there. That sacred place, that place that is just so beautiful, so warm, so wonderful, so filled with joy and love and peace. That place that is always present, that we are present with right here and right now.
And so it is from that sacred place that I give thanks. I give thanks because I know that I am healthy, whole, and complete. I give thanks because I know that I am prosperous, that everything I need is provided for. And I am grateful, for I know that this is our truth. And it is with gratitude, with love, with faith, with joy, with excitement that I release this treatment into the ethers, into the law of God, and I know that it is done. And so it is.
So it is. So this month, the topic is on wholeness. And it's really great that wholeness is in the summertime. And I always get the platform up here when Reverend Frankie goes away on vacation. And I love doing a summertime service because to me, summer is very sacred. It's where things slow down. And I really love this topic because wholeness to me is so, so important. And in our center, we say, the science of mind teaches us, and we say here, we are healthy, whole, and complete. We say that God is all there is. We say that there is one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is our life now. So I think what we should do is repeat after me so we could ground ourselves in this. I am healthy, whole, and complete. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life right here and right now. God is all there is. Well, we're done. You guys could all go home. I mean, we really covered everything. But John, my shoulder hurts me. Or I got arthritis in my neck. I just can't shake it. My sinuses, this summer, John, my sinuses are so bad. Or shingles. I got shingles, which will be part of this story because I just got over shingles. Or what about there's been a diagnosis of cancer or another life-threatening diagnosis for me or somebody that I know that's close to me or a family member. God is all there is. I am healthy, whole, and complete. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life right here and right now. The answer is yes. That never changes. I wanted to start off with a strong teaching point. This is what you came here to hear me say today. This is important. We are taught here that we do not pretend that the events in our lives are not happening. That would be living in a world of make-believe, a spiritual land with unicorns and rainbows and lollipops. You know, it's funny, when I was writing this out, it made me think of the game Candyland. And last night I went online and looked at Candyland because I haven't looked at the board since like a little kid. And they have the little chocolate village, and then they have like a little cupcake village and a little candy cane village. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to be there. I want to be in spiritual land all the time. The only problem is we live on a human surface. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be there. We need to recognize the circumstances on the human plane. We need to. But then we claim the spiritual truth behind them. That's what the science of mind is all about. That's what it's about for me. And that's the lesson. That's what we come here to learn. And refusing to look at the human experience and just saying everything is perfect. How you doing? I'm perfect. How you doing? I'm perfect. That's spiritual bypass. And what that does is it does more harm to us than good. Now, I'm not telling you to walk around with your story. I say to Bashi, how you doing? Oh, John, my knees, they hurt. Every time I talk to Bashi, my knees. I'm going to stop talking to Bashi. Sorry, Bashi, she's sitting right there. You know, oh my God, my earache, my ears bother me. Or my wrist, I got that carpal tunnel syndrome. Not telling us not to have our experiences. I heard somebody share at a recovery meeting once, build a tent there, but don't build a townhouse there. It's important that we see these things, but it's also important knowing the spiritual truths behind them. So, when we look at wholeness, I looked up a couple of different definitions. And sometimes when you look up definitions, it makes it more confusing and you got to keep going and going. But some of the things that I saw said, a state of forming a complete, harmonious, whole unity. The state of being, a state of being unbroken and undamaged. Containing all the complete components, unimpaired, undiminished. When I read this and we talk about wholeness and we talk about the wholeness within, that really describes what we are, who we are, what is inside of us. It's all the outside stuff that distracts me away from that. And I love this talk on wholeness, and two things were sticking out in my mind. The first thing is that song, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing. I'm the talker, not the singer. I told Sharon I'd back her up today. She goes, no, I heard you sing. We'll take care of that. You just do the talking. We'll take care of the singing. But that song was playing in my head. But what was playing in my head was, let there be wholeness on earth, and it must. There's that pesky must word. We're usually not supposed to say it up here, but don't tell anybody. Don't tell Reverend Frankie I said it, okay? But it must begin with us. The wholeness has to start with us. And that's why we come to the spiritual center. It's taking that deep dive is where we connect with our wholeness. When we were in Italy, we were going to the Amalfi Coast, and we were on this bus, and it goes down this treacherous road, and you're looking down this cliff. And there was a beautiful picture of the ocean, which if anybody got their email this week, there was a picture of some old sneakers on there. That wasn't my picture. The Amalfi Coast was supposed to be on there. But that's what gave me the idea for taking the deep dive. I know, I looked at the picture, I said, that's not the Amalfi Coast. Maybe it didn't go through the email. But where I got the thought, the topic for this idea, for this talk today, was that when I looked down, like it was so far down, like obviously I wouldn't have taken a dive from there. But it was so beautiful. And I just looked at it thinking about taking that dive within, that just looking at that beauty. The second thing I think of when I think of wholeness, besides that song, is the oxygen mask story that we opened with on the plane. I have been waiting for 10 years to be able to use that in a talk. I love that. When I first came into Alcoholics Anonymous 15 years and 7 months ago, I was told that I had to put the oxygen mask on myself first. My sponsor worked with me that when I got on a plane to watch what that stewardess said, that I need to put the oxygen mask on myself so I can help others. And I was like, but that doesn't make sense. I'm sitting next to this little kid. I got to help him. I can't help nobody unless I help myself. And what is really beautiful, that when I first came into recovery and I first came here, I looked for the people who had their oxygen masks on, that were taking care of themselves because they were there to help others. We are so fortunate here to have Reverend Frankie, Dr. Frankie, as a spiritual leader. She is the diva for Center of Spiritual Livings across the country. Everybody knows Dr. Frankie. If anybody has had that oxygen mask on securely, it's been Dr. Frankie. The reason I am standing here today is because of Dr. Frankie. The reason Lucy is here today is because of Dr. Frankie. We had 3 amazing guest speakers, 3 successful ministers, while Reverend Frankie was on her sabbatical. Reverend Janice, Reverend Jennifer, and Reverend Michelle. They all studied under Reverend Frankie. So the oxygen mask that's put on ourselves first is to make us whole. It's to get in touch with that wholeness so we could be there for others. And when we show up at these doors here, we're so fortunate because we have a spiritual leader that has the oxygen mask on. And not only that, we have an amazing, are there any kids here today? No. We have an amazing kick-ass practitioner core here. We have these practitioner meetings, and once a month, a couple times a year, we all have to lead a meeting. When our practitioners lead a meeting, I just go like, oh my God, they're so connected. But that's because they have done the work on putting the oxygen mask on themselves. That's what our community is about. Anybody who's here for the first time, we welcome you. We welcome wherever you were on your spiritual path to honor you and help you in any way we can. And if you're not on a spiritual path, we're here to help you form one. That's what's so beautiful about this teaching. So in looking up, a little bit more about, the definition of wholeness, I saw a biblical definition that said, a state of being well in body, mind, and spirit. In the 12-step program, we say physical, spiritual, and mental. And this week in the Reading of Science of Mind, one of the stories, it said, wholeness is the balance of spirit, mind, and body, very close to the biblical definition. But this was very interesting. It says if we're out of balance with one of them, we're out of balance with the other ones. And I went, wow, it really made me think. And here's the thing. We know when we're out of balance. Now, if anybody read the Science of Mind magazine this morning, it talked about the knowing with the little k and the capital K. I know when I'm out of balance. Do I want to know this way or do I want to know that way? And here's the thing. When I know that I know. And I know that God knows. And I know that God knows I know. And if I don't take a look at that, God, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it, has a way of getting our attention. Mother's Day, I got punched in the face by God. Lucy and I did a service up in Rockland County at Reverend Jennifer Center. Powerful service. So powerful, a lady had a heart attack in the middle of it. She passed out. She's okay. And we continued the service after they took her away. We're driving home that day, and I said, I had a little sinus infection. I said, something doesn't feel right. Had a little mark on my head. Went to the doctor. She goes, might be shingles. Here, take this medicine. We'll see you in a couple days. Monday, I was a little swollen. Tuesday, it was horrible. I was raced to the ophthalmologist. My forehead was swollen. I was in so much pain. He gave me this Valtrex because shingles, there's nothing they could give to make it go away. They could just shorten it. Now I know, whenever I tell this story, people go, John, didn't you get this shingles shot? I didn't know what shingles was before Mother's Day. And then they go, well, don't you watch TV? Yeah, I watch a lot of TV, but if I got a vaccination for everything that I saw on TV, I wouldn't be up here talking today. I'd be at a doctor's office. So he gives me this Valtrex. I go home, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and it's just starting. Wednesday morning, it is so bad, I am raced to the emergency room. I get to the hospital. I look so hideous that when I went to the front desk, they asked me not to touch anything. And that when I moved, they came out with alcohol and they scrubbed the floor and the desk and everything. And I was really feeling bad about myself because this thing was looking hideous. Then when they brought me back to the emergency room, we walked to the other end of the hospital. We walked through 25 emergency rooms to all the way at the end where they put the psychiatric people. The room was just all cement and a little toilet. The nurse outside the door was going, I ain't going in there. He's contagious. And she wasn't being soft about it. I was so scared with what was going on and all this was happening. And then the nurse comes in and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry we put you in this room. We had no space." I'm like, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. We walked past 25 rooms. So the doctor comes in and he says, "Listen, I'm going to give you a little steroid. It's going to get worse." Now my face is swollen. He said, "But you're going to be okay." Thursday I get up and it is so bad we race back to the ophthalmologist. The ophthalmologist says to me, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Doc, look at my face." Now this guy's dry sense of humor, great ophthalmologist. He goes, "It's impressive." That was his doctor opinion. But listen to this metaphysical, spiritual statement that this man made that changed everything. He said, "That which concerns you on the outside is really bad. It's really bad. But that which concerns me, which is on the inside," talking about my eye, but he said the inside, he said, "is fine." What did I talk about? The human plane. Finding the spiritual behind it. Something shifted in me. That day, my eye was swollen shut. We got home, and I asked God, "Please just help my eye to open, so I didn't have to hold it open." When I was doing my spiritual practices in the morning, I was taking that blue painter tape, and I was taping my eye open so I could read and do my spiritual practices. And in that moment, my eye popped open. And in that moment, I knew I was healthy, whole, and complete. But when I looked in the mirror, it was so bad. Now, this is one of those times if we had screens, I'd be showing the pictures, and you guys would be like, "Oh, please, turn it off." And I said to Lucy, "Oh, I'm going to print the pictures and bring them." She goes, "Nobody wants to see that." It was hard. The scabs, the pain, it was really hard. And I was sitting at home, and I've never been at home for 2.5, 3 weeks straight. That's never happened to me. I've never been this sick. Reverend Frankie talked to me every day. Turn off the TV, go to that place of wholeness. Only God could do the healing. As I went back to the doctors, they were like, "You're healing amazingly, but my face is falling off." And I'm like, "Doc, but look at my face." He goes, "No, you're healing amazingly." The pain was out of 15. Being a recovering addict, I can't take anything. The doctor said, "Take a couple of Tylenols and, pray." It was very hard for me to go face the world with those scabs on my face. But I healed. My sponsor and my minister coach, wonderful people. "Why do you think this happened?" "What do you mean?" "You need to take a look within." "What do you mean?" When we get something like this is the deep dive. I needed to take a look within. And here's what I want to tell you. I don't want to tell you this, but I have to tell you this. I was out of alignment spiritually, way out of alignment. I know most of you were disappointed saying, "John, my God, you're so wonderful. You have so much time in recovery. You're a ministerial student. You're going to be a man of the cloth." I was out of balance. And it was from taking that deep dive, that look within. I didn't like what I saw. I'm not going to share with everybody. But I started to make the corrections. I didn't overcorrect, but I started to make the corrections. So in that time that I was laid up, I was home for 3 weeks with my dog, Angel, who never left my side. I've never spent that kind of time with my dog. My dog's getting older. She's very healthy, but she's getting older. That's the fact. My AA home group is at 5:30. In 15 years and 7 months, I've never been at our house at 5:30. For 3 weeks, I got to see what it was like in my neighborhood at 5:30. I got to sit in this beautiful home that Lucy created. I got to really be present. What I did was I was able to take that deep dive within. We were supposed to go on vacation in that time frame. We were supposed to go down to Florida. That didn't pan out. For some reason, Lucy took insurance out on this trip. We never take insurance out, ever. Some reason, Lucy took insurance out. And when she went to go put the trip back, something popped up and said, "Hey, how would you like to go to Italy for a couple days for the exact same price?" And she hit yes. She didn't even ask me. She just wrote it in my book. "I'm taking you somewhere." I'm like, "But look at my face." She's like, "You'll be fine." So here's what I want to end with. 2 weeks ago, we went to Italy for 3 days. And everybody goes, John, 3 days? I mean, come on. We love Italy. We vacationed there for the last 2 years with our family. And someday we're going to end up in Italy half a year and maybe Florida half a year. I'm not really sure. We'll see where this whole ministry thing is taking us. But we've been there. We know the routine. Italy's a couple more hours than California. So we wanted to just like go for a couple days, just Lucy and myself. Little romantic time. You know, Italy, the music, and you get the picture. Keep it clean. But Lucy said to me, she said, I want to try something. She goes, I've heard of a spiritual pilgrimage. I want to make this trip a spiritual pilgrimage. I'm like, all right. So she went online and she found this lovely lady, Jean Y. She has this, I guess, a blog called Healthy Spirituality. And she talked about what a pilgrimage was. But I want to finish the talk with the relation of a pilgrimage on a vacation with the pilgrimage for deep within. Because she said to me, John, the more I find out about this pilgrimage, the more it goes with our talk for the end of the month. It says a pilgrimage is a transformational journey to the sacred center. It's a spiritual experience. It's the kind of journey that moves you from mindless to mindful, from soulless to soulful. Now I know somebody said to me, but John, you went to Italy. I'm going to Point Pleasant. You were on the Amalfi Coast. You were at Assisi. I'm going to the Great Wolf in the Poconos. It's not about the journey. It's not about the destination. What matters most is how deeply and how richly you encounter the experience. It's July 22nd. To me, we still got a whole summer ahead of us. Next weekend, right before August, I start getting a little nervous because once August hits, we know that flies by and we're right back. My invitation today, that deep dive within that I'm asking you to do, is to take that spiritual pilgrimage, but to take it wherever you are, to take it whether you're in Italy or you're in Point Pleasant. Now, I'm not telling you to go get some books downstairs. As a matter of fact, don't read. Relax. Last week, Reverend Frankie said, should we get an ice cream cone or should we meditate? Here's what I'm saying. Go get the ice cream cone and sit there and think about eating the ice cream cone. Take the rest of the summer. Be where you are. Enjoy where you are. See God in everything of where you are. Live each moment seeing the miracles all around us. Live in the wholeness. That's what summertime is about. There's times to open the book. Classes are going to start in September or October. We'll be telling you about them. But right now, my invitation to you is to take that deep dive within and just make that connection wherever you are. I'll end with this. 3 days in Italy seemed like 10 days in Italy. When I got back from that trip, I was more nourished than I've ever been in my life. We went to St. Francis of Assisi. When I stepped onto the ground, it was like walking on memory foam. The birds fly over spiritually. The people's conversation, everything was so brilliant. I'm not telling you every place you go, you have to do this. What I'm saying is be mindful where you are. Start today. Start at the concert today. Start at wherever it brings you for the rest of this summer. So let's close our eyes and just anchor this with a spiritual mind treatment. Right now in this space, I just sit in my wholeness. Simply. No rules, no books, no right or wrong. I just sit and be. Because that's where God is. And that's where I am. And again, God, Spirit, universe, Mother Nature, whatever works. In that wholeness, I just become one. And I relax. And it's in that relaxing that I step out of that human plane I live in and know the peace and love and joy that's always there. And for this, I am so grateful. I release these words. It is done, and so it is. Amen. So today, I just wish everybody a good spiritual pilgrimage, whatever you do, wherever your path leads from, wherever your steps lead from the center today that carry you through the rest of the summer. Let us just remember that we are healthy, whole, and complete, that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is our life now. And if you can't remember any of this, God is all there is. And so it is. Go have a good day, everybody.